come on.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Oh, sweet. It crit me. Now, I wanted to show a clip of me fighting and like not really talking too much about anything, but there is a big issue with PvP, and it's been on a lot of people's minds, but everywhere that I go on YouTube about this game, it's just, you know, how to do this, how to do that. I think we need to actually have a nice healthy discussion about the current state of the game. I'm currently in Crystal 2, and a lot of people are very upset with FC Xeon. As you can see, yeah, I can snipe out FC Xeon. Yes, I can snipe out Anastasia, Ignite Anastasia, right? Now, that's all good and well, but there are a lot of bad factors in those arguments. And even though I've said it too, it's like, oh, you could just snipe him out, is that you saw one really big thing in that last fight is he dodged it. Well, not Xeon himself, but the other character dodged it. Oh, come on. And then once they get dodges and blocks and stuff of that nature, it becomes hectic. Also, you saw one random thing is that Balthury, I think it was, oh no, it was not Balthury, 2 or was broken by nature, and there's no way of me knowing that. So I wanted to ask, or top 5, or I actually have no idea how many different points I'm going to bring in, but I want to bring in the discussion of what needs to change in PvP. I'm gonna leave the rest of the game out of it. I just want to talk about PvP in this video. I just want to thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. It actually helps a lot when you guys do that. When it makes it seem like this video is something that you guys like. Even if you guys comment first, second, that actually helps. I know a lot of people actually don't know that. But it helps me a lot as far as like getting my channel out there. Yes, it helps with the ads, it helps with the revenue, everything, it helps. So the smallest thing as far as just like, commenting, and subscribing does help and go a long way, more than people actually will take the time to understand. So thank you. But let's get to complaining, because there's been a lot of preaching and loving, and like it's so hard right now, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can agree that it feels like no one's really talking about the bad things of the game. The first thing, and the reason why I'm in this exact screen, and we'll talk to that guy later, is going to be random Guardian Stones when... Hey, I'm talking, okay? Is random Guardian Stones upon summon. My Rudley here is weak to grass, nature, which is not that big of a deal, right? There's not that much nature that's popular in the meta right now, but my Malhar, he's weak to ice, and Balthury is super popular. Anastasia is super popular. Other ice characters that I can't think of at the moment are super popular. And if they happen to just attack you, and you know, it's supposedly random, you know, when the computer attacks, it seems random. It doesn't seem like they're like, they see your Guardian Stones, but you know, you can't. It just makes your summon more useless. And the worst one that I think I'm gonna show is that my Anastasia is weak to machine, and that is horrible. It's horrible. And the reason why that's horrible is because machine, there's usually at least one machine character on every team. I feel like you sometimes run into people that possibly don't have Anastasia, that don't have Balthury, I mean, or Bernadette. It's like sometimes it's very rare that they don't, and they always have AoE. But the thing is that I feel like every time I run into a team, there's always a machine character on there somewhere, in some way, shape, or form. Now, what makes this worse is that if they throw any AoEs, yes, my Anastasia, and machine is one of the worst breaks, is because that in PvP, it literally, you're stuck there for 12 turns, and in PvP, you're pretty much dead. There's no way to remove break when you actually get hit, when you actually get broken. So if you happen to get broken for whatever reason, just because of they randomly attacked you or something, or they had a very low mana cost AoE, then you're just screwed. So same thing here with Rudley. Randomly sometimes gets broken because they have nature on the team. Now I don't mind that too much, but my issue with it is that the only way to change it is to then use ZEUZ. Now, you've used ZEUZ to pretty much summon the character. Yes, there's many ways to summon. You can get characters through the door of creation, so you can say, hey, you didn't spend anything really on that character, you got it free, and now you should be able to use ZEUZ to change it. But I still think that's silly, because you then have to go and change it to be viable in any sense of the word in PvP, like, and that's not even your fault. It's not your fault. My change of it, and this is what I want to do, I want to give a complaint but also give a change to it as well, is that certain characters should be born with the same Guardian Stone. So every Rudley that I summon, I guess you guys probably saw in another video when I was doing summons, is that I got a Rudley with ice, and then I got you know, I can get a Rudley with machine, and then I already built this one up, and it's like, dang, I'd rather get that Rudley that's weak to light or dark, because there's not that many characters that fight against that. So it would have been really cool. Then, oh, but now I can't. I already built this one up, so now I got to spend these. I just don't think I like the system. I'd rather if everyone was born specifically with a certain Guardian Stone, which is what I initially thought. And when they have that, then changing it, you know, then you can say, hey, he changed his Guardian Stone, but it doesn't really fix the issue too much, because it goes to my next point, is I feel like Guardian Stones, regardless if they're random or not, I think that they should be revealed in PvP. And if not revealed, they should not be used at all. I think that the fact is that you'll see me in a fight and I'm trying my hardest to, you know, not I'm trying my hardest, sorry. I'm trying to just do the match, and then suddenly I randomly attack and like, boom, it's a break. It's, woohoo, it's a break. I can't then coordinate attacks or anything like that. I then have to coordinate stuff on the fly. And I think that the issue with me trying to coordinate stuff on the fly is that now you have to, you know, your mana is in different positions, it's in weird positions, you know, your snipe character, you just use your snipe on someone else, and then all of a sudden you got a break. And then of course the same thing is happening to you. Like I said, random AoE character just all of a sudden breaks your character, and you know, what are you supposed to do? If you're weak to like ice, I literally, you can't play the character. So at least when you see a character and you're like, okay, they have Valkyrie on the other team, okay, just so we can be clear on this, Valkyrie has not one, but 2 AoE moves that are gonna hit ice, right? So it would be in my best interest to break her. So I'm like, oh god, there goes a Valkyrie. Also, her passive, her Tranquil, well, Tranquil passive is nothing I can do about that, right? Well, with the Breath of mana, that's definitely something I want dead. Front row allies are just permanently gaining mana. Definitely want to take this character out, right? Definitely want to take her character out. Again, the issue there is that I'm probably wasting attacks, or you know, she's possibly not broken by something that I'm trying to throw at her, and she's not getting broken. So like my first point is one thing, but my second point is I think that they either need to remove them in general and have it like the labyrinth. The labyrinth is like there is nothing. Like, yes, they have some stupid things where it's like this character only takes dark damage. It's like, well, why? Okay, we thought that would waste your time longer. I think that they should be revealed. That adds some strategy. At least it lessens the RNG and adds more strategic strategy to the fight, or they should just remove it in general and then have it about a skill war. That one, it's kind of hard because I am really curious of what you guys think, and also feel free to give me your things that need to change, whether you agree or disagree with the ones that I'm putting. Feel free. The comments help my channel, like I just said. They actually help a lot more than you guys think. Last but not least, the final thing that I have a really big issue is, even if you want to have the break system inside of PvP, right? The way passes work is that they seem to work in PvP even if you're broken, as long as your character's not physically doing anything. And what I mean by that is that if you're broken, right, your counter obviously is not going to go off. If you have final hit, you know, like this guy has, he's not gonna trigger final hit when he's broken. He's basically like stunned at that point, right? Which is weird because they have stuns and all other things in the game, and they also have you getting broken. So, which makes sense because, you know, the way the game's currently formatted is that you never really know when you're going to get a break when in PvP. You just have no idea. Even stuff like first aid, when the character just heals the character, will not be triggered if the character is broken. my big issue with that is that it seems as though like those passives, these basic passives, seem to be like affected by it, but passives like the Dragon Blood passives keep continuing to work. Even, I'm gonna show you guys a clip, even when I have a character broken, they're still gaining the benefits of Dragon Blood. Even though they're broken, I think that that needs to super change. And what's worse is that I'll also show you guys a clip of this guy. Now he has mana absorb, and I've been trying to tell people, hey, I want to check this out. It's really important. It's really important to see if it removes the buff, the barrier. The only thing I wanted to see is if it removes the barrier. I can understand the Dragon Blood passive, like the actual Dragon Blood, that a lot of the times these games, the passive is different from a buff. And unfortunately, I think they tied it in together. You're gonna see this guy gain a turn. His turn is coming up. I purposely trigger Dragon Blood. I purposely trigger the shield because I know that he's coming up next, right? Which would be a good strategy. Your mana absorbing character is about to come up. You can get a free attack, remove the shield. The Dragon Blood aspect is still stacking, yes, but you're gonna kill off that character because now they don't have the shield. And if you were to run multiple of these characters, then you don't have to worry about the shield, so you can kind of keep DPSing it. Remember, Wraith or Wrath only triggers once per turn. You can send one character that's super tanky or something like that into the fray, attack, and then you would technically be able at that point to then kill the character or have a way to constantly attack the character. A whole swarm of mana absorb characters to counter out the Dragon Blood meta. That's kind of would have been a great thing, but then you would have a nice counter team, right? And then when people switch all to this buff absorb stuff, then you just switch the meta. The meta would actually change. It would be the meta changing due to people reading skills. But unfortunately, that's not what we're seeing here. What we're seeing is that the barrier is part of the passive, and you can't remove the passive. Okay, I think we're safe. Okay, so he goes next, right? So let's trigger hers. Got zapped. And now it's his turn. Now you see here, removes a buff from the enemy and gains a mana. He didn't take any of these buffs. None. It's too strong, I have to say. And that's the same thing with Wraith. You guys will see. It crits. It's so weird that it crits. It just, that needs to change. For Anastasia, it gives Anastasia a counter. Like it gives her a very strong counter while building completely like defense. Like she can build and try to get as much tanky stuff as possible. Like at least for Xeon, he has to build damage if he wants to do damage on his turn, but he doesn't have to build, damage at all. The whole Wrath counter is strong enough on its own to kill you, just to kill you. And I feel like that is a huge problem, and that's the issue that people are having when it's just those two by themselves, or just Xeon by himself, or if anything, I would think that Anastasia by herself or Anastasia by herself. What is the proper pronunciation? It's been killing me for 18 years. But really big issue there is that what do you do? What do you do once they start stacking? Like I said, removing the barrier would have been fine. I don't know every single character. I don't even know if there's a character that has a skill that can stop that can be like, well, just add this character to your team. Because if the passive doesn't work, mana absorb passive doesn't work, then what else are you supposed to do? Why do you have a auto passive crit that's doing 7k? Like, what? And yes, it only did 7k because it's stacked up, but it's stacked up on a character that's already broken. I broke that character, like, and it's stacking up Dragon Bloods, even though they're broken. So my other thing would be that if you get broken, if they want to keep that system in, everything about that character is gone. Like, your passive is dead. Any buffs that you had on you are gone. Debuffs on you can stay. They're allowed to stay. You're welcome. But anything on that character is gone. That character is now vulnerable. Then it would actually make it worth it to then, you know, go through the hassle of possibly attacking Xeon early in the game when his first like wrath counter. That's another way you kill him, right? You just trigger his wrath when it's low, and then you funnel down the Temple of God on him, because it only triggers once. The barrier triggers once. The wrath is gonna trigger once. It's easier to, you can funnel attacks onto him, but then you just keep stacking up the Dragon Blood, and again, it's scary. And if they're both in there, then you have all the Dragon Blood passes on one character, and then all of a sudden the other Dragon Blood character just, you can't attack that one either now. You have to sit there and focus them down. So let me know what you guys would do. What are your guys' suggestions as far as it comes down to changing the PvP? Honestly, she needs to become more popular. Look at that. Holy Light Strike is stupid. It's all the back row where most of the people that are gonna be with stupid light passive, and it stuns them for 3 turns. 3 turns is not a lot, but it only takes her 1 mana to do it, and that's very easy for, especially if you know how light works, like how their elemental thing. She would actually be very, very, very strong in the meta right now. Just saying, because she would always have this ad available if as long as all your characters are alive. And then she has a 5-turn stun. So yeah. And that's the biggest thing. That's the thing that drew me to the game in the first place, is the break system. That's so unique. But then it doesn't fit in PvP, and it's terrible that it doesn't. It ruins it. And it's just like you're randomly doing stuff, and then you randomly get a break. It's like, oh. And you're not gonna get random breaks anymore. As soon as you see someone with like 2 Guardian Stones, just assume that one of them's light, because it's very likely that that's what they're doing. They're going into light because light is just not well represented in the PvP meta right now. And if you stack your team with light characters, he probably didn't do that for the other characters. So now the character that's weak to, like, as you saw, like nature or fire or something like that, is getting away with murder. Like, it's insane. It's insane. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Light up the comment section below. I'm gonna also post this on Reddit, because I had beautiful discussions on Reddit with another gentleman by the name of D Morton. We had a lovely conversation. As you can see, it's just me and him going back and forth, not in a negative light. Like, let's literally just healthy conversation. And I think that that's really, really cool and important to have healthy discussions, because I'm not expecting you guys to agree with me on any of this. I hope that some of you guys agreed. And but the issue is that it needs to change. I think no matter what. Like, he had issues with mana, like characters gaining mana, but I think that there should be characters that gain mana so you can actually be more aggressive, things of that nature. But we all agree that there's something that needs to change before people just deem the PvP unplayable. And it sucks when that happens, because then you're avoiding a mode in the game that's important, and you don't want that. You want modes in your game to matter. You want them to be like, I can do this, or I play this for a couple hours and then I switch over to this. Like, it's so cool that you can explore for a little bit, for like while you're letting your stamina go down, and then you'll do your challenges, and then when you're done with that, you can go do a freaking wug race, fucking frog race, and then when you're done with that, like, you know, it's a lot of cool stuff. But then PvP, which is supposed to be the end of everything, right? It's like you don't want to do it. Not good. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and remember that every day at the casino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.